All right, so we're going to go through writing and solving some real world inequalities. And for this lesson, we need to remember our keywords to tell us which inequality symbol we need to use. So the first example, we're going to read through it once and circle or highlight some important things. So it says the boys basketball team is playing in a tournament. The coach told them that if anyone averages over 20 points each of the 3 games they are playing in, that person will not have to run sprints at the next practice. Each sprint is about 62 yards. If Jalen scored 28 points in the first game and 10 points in the second game, how many points does he have to score in the third to avoid running sprints? Write and solve an inequality that represents the scenario. Okay, so first thing is he's trying to avoid running sprints, and it's all about the number of points. So one thing that stood out to me that I don't think we need is the distance of each sprint. It's about 62 yards. We don't care about that because we're just trying to figure out how many points he needs to avoid running sprints. We don't need to know the distance of the sprints. So we know that if anyone averages, you know what average means, and then it says over 20 points. I think that is important. And then it also tells us how much he's already scored. So he's scored 28 points the first game and 10 points the second game. We're trying to figure out the number of points he needs in the third game to avoid running sprints. So we're going to say the score in the third is going to be X because we don't know that yet. So we need a variable for that. So we need to know what the word average means and how to take the average of something. So to find the average, we have to add up all of the number of points and then divide that by how many times we did that. So if we're trying to figure out the average for 3 games, we're adding up 3 separate scores and then we're dividing it by 3. So to do this, we need to start with the first game. So the first game, he had 28 points. And we're going to add that to the second game. And the second game was 10 points. And we're going to add that to the third game. And the third game we don't know, so we have X. And then to find the average, we need to divide that by 3 because we're adding 3 numbers together. Then we know that he said that if anyone averages over 20 points, so over 20 means it has to be greater than 20, but it cannot equal 20. It has to be over 20. So we do not have the or equal to. So now this is our inequality that we have to solve. To solve this, we first want to get rid of our fraction. So if everything is being divided by 3, to undo that, the inverse would be to multiply both sides by 3. So our 3's cancel. So then what we are left with is we still have our 28 plus 10 plus x is greater than 60 because 20 times 3 is 60. So now we can go ahead and combine some like terms. We can combine the 20 and 10. They're both constants on the left-hand side. So 28 plus 10 is going to be 38. We still have plus x is greater than 60. To get the variable by itself, we want to subtract 38 from both sides. And then we are left with x is greater than 22. So here's our answer. But we still need to write a sentence about how many points Jalen needs. So for this, we have to kind of think about it. If he needs more than 22 points in the third game, because that's what we found, x is greater than 22, he cannot score exactly 22 points. So he has to score 23 points or more than that to avoid sprints. So we're going to say Jalen has to score 23 or more to avoid running sprints. Because 22 is not enough. We do not have the or equal to under our inequality symbol in here. So 22, he wouldn't be over the 20-point average. So he needs 23 or more. All right, so we are going to go to the next example. So this one says 3 times the number x subtracted from 18 is less than negative 90, right? And solve the inequality that represents the scenario. Go ahead and see if you can do it on your own, and then see if you come up with the same inequality as us. All right, so this is inequality. Because the 3 times the number x is being subtracted from 18, the 18 needs to come out in front. So if 18 minus 3x is less than negative 90, now we can solve this scenario. So we want to move everything away from our variable, so we're going to subtract 18 from both sides. And what we're left with is a negative 3x. We need that negative with it because it's connected to that 3x. And then negative 108. Because negative 90 minus 18, we're going even further negative, so negative 108. Then we have to divide both sides by negative 3. When we divide by a negative for an inequality, we have to flip our sign. So I'm going to do that right now. Instead of less than, it's going to be greater than. And then we have x by itself. And then on the right side, we have a positive 36. So we don't have much of a context for this one. So we're just going to say the missing number is larger than 36. Or we could say the missing number is greater than 36 because that's the inequality symbol that we have. And then we're done. Go ahead and try the you try. So it says Darren wants to download new apps on his phone. He already has 8 gigabytes of storage taken up on his phone from pictures and 9 games. He has a maximum capacity of 16 gigabytes. If each app is approximately 0.5 gigabytes, how many can he download? Go ahead and try this one on your own, and then see if your answer matches our answer. All right, so for this one, here he has 8 gigabytes of storage taken up on his phone. It doesn't matter how many pictures or how many games, that's already taken up, so the 8 is by itself. Nothing is being multiplied to it. The maximum capacity is 16 gigabytes, so it has to be less than or equal to that 16 gigabytes. He could be at exactly 16 gigabytes or anything less than that, so that's where the inequality symbol comes from. And then each app is approximately 0.5. So that's why we have 0.5. We don't know how many apps. So we're going to multiply those two together right here. When we solve it, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. We're left with 0.5a is less than or equal to 8. Divide both sides by 0.5. We do not flip our